Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessing. We'll give y'all some time to tune in. Apologies for the time changes. It's been a busy afternoon as always, but I had to come bring something to the people. First things first, hopefully everybody is having a blessed and productive Saturday. Hopefully everybody's enjoying themselves. Everybody's out and about during this nice weather. Those celebrating for the Memorial Day weekend, barbecues, events, whatever you're getting into. Hopefully you keep yourself cool, keep yourself safe at all times, and enjoy your blessing, especially if you are celebrating a birthday this weekend or over the holiday. Anita, baby. Another thing I'm gonna tell everybody is keep their health preserved. If they feel they under the weather or something just don't seem right, y'all already know. Go get yourselves checked out. Keep yourselves preserved. Health over everything. Chef, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate everybody that tuned in Thursday for the conversation. Definitely was a great one that was needed. I'm gonna revisit that subject again because I do feel that divorce is a part of destroying or breaking legacy. But if you missed it Thursday, definitely catch the replay. Today, I'm gonna probably might just do that a little bit. Um, it is good again to get the different views and aspects of it because again, divorce is one way of creating a broken legacy. But I think another way of creating a broken legacy, in my opinion, is how you say it, neglect. When you neglect to do what you need to do as a parent, when you neglect to do what you need to make sure your kids are solid, that's a form of creating a broken legacy. Because if you don't teach them nothing, how they gonna grow up to be anything? And that's what I'm saying. Even if you've been long removed out of school, prime example, you're still supposed to try to give the utmost knowledge you can. Especially some of the curriculum is still the same curriculum they've been giving everybody for eons. But then you also, like I said, incorporate what you're supposed to incorporate. You want your child to become the greatest legacy in your tree, then show them exactly how to get from point A to point B. Like some people talk about being a boss, but again, how can you be a boss if you're not teaching what it takes to be a boss? Because bosses do have to make critical decisions when needed, careful decisions when needed, and they got to go off of doing things calculated and it being unbiased, basically. So, you got to think about it. Incorporating certain things and the children around you is good. Show them an element of how to get to a status if you feel that's what you want them to do. You want them to be their own bosses like some people do. Okay, well, teach your kids how to be their own boss. Show them how to go about it, but also show them how to keep their composure and just remain humble when need be. And you will see the things progress. Not everybody's going to be able to get on that status. So when it's all said and done, you just basically have to teach them the things that are needed. Like I said, teaching life skills definitely an important one, because they got to be able to survive. When you're not teaching them how to even survive outside, even when they're in the world around them, they basically are a target. Serious, baby. London, baby. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. But yeah, when you are not giving them careful executed plans, basically send them out to the wolves. Which is unfair. Because everybody has a right to learn and grow just as they're supposed to. You can also break a legacy by lying and continuously lying throughout the course of. So that's another way to break a legacy or create a broken legacy. Creating a family and then creating lives around the family. And honestly, that's selfish too. The one thing you don't want, and even if you are adopting, is destroy their legacy building. Prime example, if you're taking in kids like they're your own kids, you're adopting them, you're being a guardian, and you know what's required. You can't treat them any differently than you would treat anybody else. And in all honesty, you would have to treat them like they're your offspring, like they came from your womb, because again, you chose to do so. You chose to say, well, I don't want this kid to go without, so I'm going to do what's necessary. Now, there are some stories where people find out their parents ain't their parents, but in the same token, it didn't change the outcome. You know, the legacy was still built regardless. Young girl found out mother and father that she thought was her mother and father. Turns out that was the uncle and the aunt the whole time. The mother had an issue with drugs, and instead of her being a downfall to her and her child, she chose to go get help, which was good. You know, again, keeping the legacy preserved to a degree. Yeah, you missed some time out of your daughter's life, but in the same token, you had to do what was right for yourself. And that's the one thing to remember. Being selfish on that level. Like there's some people right now who are suffering from certain drug addictions. And instead of them saying, let me stay clean for the betterment of my children, they let the drug talk for them. In that case, it's heartbreaking. But then you got those who chose to preserve themselves and preserve the child around them. You know, you got to keep it real. You know, and that's the one thing when they do get a certain age, even if you are adopting them, at a certain age, you got to tell them what the truth is. You know, one thing you can't do is omit the truth and hide any type of truth factors around it. Because now it's bad enough that child will feel a type of way about y'all, but then they'll definitely feel a way about the actual birth parent. No, you know, when there's certain things that need to be done, yeah, sometimes you might need the extra help. And see, now, prime example, if you know you might be suffering from certain abuses right now, the best thing for you is to make sure you're good for your children, especially if you already have children that's out here in the world. You need to be as best as you can for them. You know, again, when they're young, you are trying to create and grow. You know, you're trying to show them the balance and give them the balance. Because again, when they do get a certain age, they're gonna have to do things and figure things out on their own. You're not always gonna be able to hold their hand step by step. You can sit there and give the best advice, but when they become adults, it's basically on them to create and form their legacy. The most you can do in the small stages is again show them better, teach them better. Make sure you're building a bond with them. And the only reason why a prime example that girl wasn't upset, like how some people would be upset, is because again they told her at the right time. They didn't wait until she was an adult to tell her everything. No, they told her when she was old enough to understand everything. You know, sit down and have that talk. I think the girl was like 8, 9 years old. So you know, at that age, you somewhat know a lot better than what you do when you 5, 6 years old, or even younger than that. So they had to talk. She wasn't mad. She wasn't mad at either or. She actually was happy that mom got healthy and was able to be back in her life for the rest of her life. And she was glad she had people that actually loved and cared about her to at least, you know, raise her right. So that's the most important thing out of all of that. DD baby. You already know if y'all just tuned in at the like button. Well, see, that's the thing. The goal at hand, even to that extent right there, is again the development and the growth of the child. Cool gamer, what's going on? You know, that's supposed to be the main focus at hand. Is that? You know, what is this child going to gain? You know, a child is not going to gain if they're allowed to be around parents who are, you know, addicted. What are they? What's going to, you know, what's going to be taught basically? You know, give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. See, I always said this though, and I meant this. The only thing them children will get out of being in a household where there's nothing but drug use and abuse is how to be right on that same stage. You know, they're not gonna learn much, especially if the parents are really out there strung out heavy and they just not doing what they supposed to be doing. Keeping food in the refrigerator and clean clothes and stuff on the back. But if they got people around them who are gonna do what's necessary, like grandmothers, grandfathers, and stuff along those lines, then you know they got a better chance. But it still causes a lot of rift and confusion because it's like, well, why don't you love me enough to, you know, just leave the stuff alone? But that's a question that only that person would be able to answer. So again, you know, you just got to think about the ramifications of things. When you are not doing what's necessary to create and keep the balance within the family, that becomes a problem. Miss Chicago, baby. But yeah, you know, you just got to take that into real consideration right there. You know, there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than a child that is basically defenseless in the world around them. Family don't care about them. Even the neighbors or anybody else that would have some form of whatever don't care. So that's a problem. Again, when you are bringing children into the world, you are supposed to be creating and building the greatest and the brightest legacies that you're supposed to. But you know, when you're being selfish to a degree, that's a problem. You know, again, stand on what you need to stand on. Show your children that yes, they must take pride in doing what's necessary for their own necessary growth in the future. If this is what you want to do, prime example, then let me try to help you get to that point. But if you decide you want to change up whatever you want to change up, then okay, I'm still supporting you. Because again, when they're young, they're not going to fully really know what they want to be. They just know they want to be an adult. So, oh, they just believe they want to do the necessary things. But you gotta teach them. Teach them again how to deal with bills, things along those lines. Teaching them responsibilities that will give them financial encouragement and inspiration, but also financial responsibility. Like you know, showing them how to get a summer job, basically. Susan, baby, you know, start off small. If you want them to create and build their own legacy, they do have to start from somewhere. You know, unless you have something already in works and you're going to have them trying to keep the legacy going. Like, prime example, if you do run a family business, you might trust your children when it's all said and done to take over, especially if they have shown responsibility. You're going to want that. Because again, you want to make sure when you are leaving off whatever legacies you leaving off to your offspring and the offsprings behind that, that there's something to still go on. There's something to still build off. You know, you can't give your family business prime example to one of your children and they just decide to let it go belly up. Or if they just decide to sell it for pennies on the dollar. You know, you have to show them that discipline, hard work, it goes a long way. Self-respect and just respect in general, that goes a long way. Simple things that you think is hard to teach really ain't. Show them how to keep themselves in a motivated state, you know. Even when things look like it could be bleak, still keep yourself motivated and determined, you know. Because the main thing is to get past certain obstacles of life. Because if those certain obstacles are the things that are blocking you from greatness, you want to eliminate that. You definitely want to eliminate that, and you know you want to try to stand in front of the problem before it becomes a big problem. You know, again, building bonds with your children or people that you are taking in as your own, that's important. That's keeping the legacy balanced. Like I said, sitting down, reading with them, doing certain exercises with them, and shoot, giving them the balance of recreation and education. If you know they going to school Monday through Friday, then on the weekend y'all need to plan something, go do something, but still keep their mind sharp and elevated, you know, and keep it stimulated. Main thing to remember is that if they got certain homeworks that they are having issues with or they could be failing at, you need to sit down as a parent and try to get them to help or try to help them the best way you can. Again, you are destroying a legacy when you are not trying to keep that legacy in tune. You know, like I said, if they decide that this is something that they want to do when they get older and they are still talking about it even until a certain stage, then that's something you should listen to. You know? It's like your kid wanting to be in the medical field for real. That's something that they choose to do. That's something that they feel they are comfortable with. And if they know the ins and outs of it and still want to do it, they encourage. We need more people definitely in the medical field right now. We need more people, you know, because we are lacking a lot of staff in a lot of different places. We need more nurses and doctors out there, especially those who can tell you what's really going on with yourself. You know, you want to be able to say I'm choosing the best physicians and the best whatever when it comes to my health, right? So make sure you're doing everything according. You know, because this is my thing. Some of y'all want to get in that home health aid field, but guess what? You got to deal with a lot. You got to deal with a lot, including having to deal with human waste. And if you're not strong enough for that, then that's something you shouldn't get into. There's certain situations where you might have to come across blood and everything else. If you're not prepared for that, if your stomach isn't going to be strong enough for it, don't do it. You know, find something else. Sometimes you don't even necessarily have to be on the field. If you good with the advanced technology and everything, you could be doing medical billing and um, billing and coding and stuff like that. BDBGP. What's going on, my guy? You could be sitting there doing that. You know, if you feel you're not good on the field, you could be good somewhere else. Don't limit yourself. Prime example, if you was trying to do sports and the sports thing didn't work out for you, if you're good with communications and telecommunications and all that other stuff, you got other options that you can visit. Like, look, prime example, we see some of the athletes, they had injuries, they couldn't come back to or they couldn't play like how they really wanted to, they found something else to do. Yeah, you gotta always keep your mind expanded and keep your options open. That's the most important thing too. That's what you need to teach these kids. That's how you want to keep the legacy going, by showing them that even if one thing doesn't pan out, there's opportunities for everything else to do. You know, when you're not doing that necessary thing and that key critical thing, you're stifling their growth. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. Working harder than simple on this damn dog bone, baby. But yeah, you know, you gotta think about that. You know, you can't say, "Oh, I feel you can do this, I feel you can do that," but you're not giving them the tools and resources necessary to do it. And even if you're going to teach them how to think on their own and be progressive in doing so, then again, you still got to give them a blueprint. Got to give them something to go on. Like, even if I don't want to run a family business, but I want to run my own, at least I know what steps to take. So, prime example for those who do have businesses and they thinking about leaving them off to their legacies, make sure your legacies is willing and determined to do so. Because if not, you can forget about it. That'll be just another thing up in the smoke. And especially if you worked hard to build something, you want that legacy to continue to grow, even while you're long gone. I'll be honest with you. See, look, I can even say this from a certain standpoint. Look how some of the gangs, prime example, regardless to what, have maintained whatever essence they had, even well after the predecessors done been long gone. Just using that as a reference, because in certain situations now, even after their predecessors were either locked up or gone, guess what? They're still running the float. Again, you got to be able to be wise in your decisions and wise in the choices that you're making. You could choose to implement something, prime example, into your business, right? But it's solely up to you to make sure that it doesn't ruin or it doesn't damage your business. You know, it's just about knowing when to be executed and calculated. And when they all stuck to what they stuck to, again, just support them. You'll get a better result than either trying to force something on them or just not doing nothing with them at all. That's the one thing to remember. It's supposed to be a balance. You know, I want to give you the tools that you need to be greater and better in life. But you're gonna have to take necessary steps too in making a lot of your dreams or aspirations come true. Me as a parent, I can only do but so much. When you get to a certain stage in your life, you're gonna basically have to make these decisions. And whether you decide to go to college or not, the main focus should really just be about, again, preserving prosperity within the family. And prosperity on all levels. You want to be prosperous and happy with the decisions that you've made. You know, you definitely want to feel a sense of greatness. Not so much as entitlement, but greatness. Yeah, you were entitled to basically become something. And you took the initiative to do so. Then again, you're entitled not to be something. But most people are trying to be something in life. Bryce, what's going on, my guy? Most people are trying to be something in life. Main thing to remember is that again, you shift the balance. You gotta know exactly what it is that you need and that you want. You want to make things happen on a grander scale, you need to open up your books and really get to study. And not just your textbooks, but your textbooks of life. Do some real searching and see exactly what it is that you need. For some of you parents, you need to just do everything by the book. Organic growth is better than fake growth or unorganic growth, period. No shortcuts in life. That's something you must teach them too, that there is no shortcuts in life. And even if you did find a shortcut to certain things, that don't necessarily mean it's going to bring you a stronger basis of encouragement and also just growth. Yeah, you could get the cheat codes to a test, right? But do you necessarily need it? You don't necessarily need it if you know what's going to be on the test. Now, if you don't know what's going to be on the test, you should still try to resort to some form of studying before that. Yeah, you could get the cheat answers if you want to, but you're cheating yourself, man. You're cheating yourself because you're not taking all the necessary steps that you need for successful building, successful growth. And at some point, you're not going to be able to cheat your way out of it. That's like you lying on a job application about having experience and working cash registers or something along those lines, working retail, and you don't know a damn thing about retail. How long you think that lie gonna last before you get exposed? You can't lie about having knowledge about electrical work and anything else along those lines, and you don't know the first step of it. So again, you have to teach what you know you can teach. And if they decide they're gonna get into other things or other ventures, then you need to be there to guide them through. That's like you lying on a resume, prime example, saying that you had multiple jobs when you probably only had 1 or 2 jobs in your life. That don't look right. Because now you might be in a position where, all right, we might boost you up. We're going to put you in this position since you got experience in this. And then once they see that you ain't got it, what's that going to look like on you? Go back to the drawing board. D Shep, what's going on, my guy? You know, that's the thing you're supposed to teach. You know, teach them that it's all right to not have experience in certain foods. I mean, listen, you can have all the steps to get into any place in life, but if you really ain't interested or you just solely was only focusing on the money aspect, then it goes down the drain. You should want to do something because you love the experience of doing it. If it brings you some form of happiness, if that's exactly what you want to do, then it's solely up to you to keep that going. But again, you can create a broken legacy by not teaching your children anything. Again, just think about it. As a parent, you're gonna probably teach your kids how to ride a bike, how to roller skate, how to do a little bit of everything, even down to cooking. At some point, you're gonna teach your kids that, or you should be able to teach your kids that. You know, learn the basic tools. Prime example: if your child gets into a certain stage, they might not have found somebody in their life yet. They still need to learn how to cook for themselves and fend for themselves when they are on their own, right? When they are on their own, they need to understand how to keep bills intact, so on and so forth. So those things you teach them when they're younger and understand, especially still dealing with math at the end of the day. Yo, don't worry, Shep. I got you after this live. Matter of fact, hold on 1 second. Let me try something. Let me try something, y'all. Yeah, my bad, y'all. My bad. I had to double check, son. Nah, because I thought I had you from the last time, bro. I'm telling you, this should be tweaking. Nah, but come on now. Like, to be honest with yourselves, who better to teach your kids or your legacy how to become great than you? You got to understand that you did great things, and now that you brought life into the world, you got to teach them how to keep those things going. You know, you got to teach them that. Teach them everything. Like I said, down to credit, paying bills, all of that. Because again, when they get older, if they don't know half of this stuff, how they gonna be coming to you? You don't want your kids being grown talking about some mom might need help with this. Mom, you think you can spot me this? Dad, you think you could give me? You don't want all of that, especially when you get to a certain age. No, you raised them to a certain age. Now you want to just sit back and relax. Not saying you ain't gonna help your children when you need to. You might give them some great advice, but again, once they get a certain age, you ain't gonna be able to hold their hands for long. They got to figure things out on their own. But if you're teaching them necessary steps and giving them the necessary balance, they will learn everything, even if they decide to go to college or not. You know, again, it's about just making sure your children are successful in the movements that they're making in life. You know, the most critical things you can teach will be the main things that reach them. Like again, self-respect. In order to gain respect, you gotta earn it. You know, and it goes a long way for real. You know, you just want to make sure they are not in an early grade, and you definitely want to make sure they're not another number in the system. I keep repeating that because it's true. Majority of the parents, at least that I know, have done everything they possibly can and raised their kids, you know, and their kids made the necessary steps in life, whether it was good or bad. But look, they was out of their damn parents' house. So again, once they was already on their own, figuring out the world around them, that's basically what it is. You know, teach them that there's things outside of just street activities to get into. You know, teach them that they're going to need the right type of people around them, especially if you know they not really built for that. I could reference right now. Yeah, I remember the Wire. Look at Weebay and his son. Weebay was the straight street general. His son was trying to be that, but couldn't be that because it wasn't in it. There's some things that you think you might pass off to your kids as far as whatever, but that's far from true. Bron, what's going on? James, what's going on, my guy? BMF, what's going on? Where them scratch off tickets at? Where them scratch offs at, man? But you know, that's the most important thing to remember. You know, your legacy may not always have everything that you have. Gotta remember that. You know, they are going to be their own individual person. Like, look, Whereas the father and the mother was trying to keep that child in the streets. That child showed that it had natural talent to be something greater than something in the streets. Now look, you seen what happened at that juncture. Uh, Father got locked up. Mother was still trying to make her son be the next man of the family or just like the father. But guess what? Again, just wasn't in him. Like, if your kids are non-confrontational to a degree, some of that street activity ain't gonna be for them because you're gonna have to get confrontation. But guess what? That father had a change of heart to realize that anyway, this ain't in my child, and you're not gonna force it on. And shut all of that down. Let that boy be a boy. You know, nah, it's a whole fact, Shep. And you know where I was going with that. Look, it took the father to really take that lesson while you sitting there, like, you know what? You're right. What the hell is my child going to do out here? He not a fighter. You definitely ain't no shooter. And again, you done been punked on many occasions, even by people that are smaller in height than you. So it goes to show, yeah, you're just not going to be built for that. If your kids are in that type of situation, you need to figure out what their goalpost is. What's their talents? Not saying you can't be out in the streets and have a good time amongst people and folks and all of that shit, but then there's other things that you're not going to be able to really get into, especially if your heart is not in it. Yeah, Shep, because you got to think about it. You know, you got to think about it from that standpoint. I ain't going to be able to do nothing for my child no more. I'm basically spending the rest of my natural born life in jail. And why would I have my child out here trying to be son or trying to have a corner basically when it'd be he an easy target? And you've had situations like that where parent could have been the thuggest of thugs and the child was proper as all pop. Like, it happens. There's certain things that they get instilled in you. It's taught. People teach you certain things like how to be in the streets. They teach you that. They teach you that. Or sometimes just by being around a certain crowd, you see what's going on. You gotta also get into the motion of letting them know. When they are young and they are still living up under a roof, they have to follow by rules and regulations. So that means even if I allow you to go outside and be amongst your friends, you need to be in the house at a certain time. Don't let me have to come looking for you or anybody else have to come looking for you. Give them an inch, they take a whole mile now. It shouldn't be that all the time. You know, you got to make sure that they understand the ramifications, especially when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. There's going to be deep ramifications for that. Because if I trusted you to be outside and you ain't home by a certain time, you're not just having me paranoid thinking that either something happened to you or you could be locked up. You got me thinking like, oh, you really don't respect my authority at all. So again, gotta instill certain boundaries when needed, especially, you know, when you're dealing with this situation right here. You know, that's what I'm saying. Give them multiple options. There's certain I can't even call them curses. There's certain behavior patterns that could be broken if you choose to break them. I could have been one of the ruggedest, thuggest people in the streets, right? But if I got children in the world now, I don't want them to have to go through the hardships I went through. I don't want them to go through the same old nonsense I went through. I want them to be better, if anything. I want to give them that opportunity. And in certain forms, you can't be too selfish in your decisions that you make, and even if you're trying to make it for the betterment of your children. Something to really just think about for real. When you know better, you do better, and then you produce better. You're bringing life into the world. You're basically producing that. So now you got to produce results. Again, when they do get a certain age, they're going to have to make their own decisions. But as long as they're still within the young stages and phases of life, you have to be that necessary teacher. Again, creating a broken legacy, it does have a crippling effect. You have some situations where people, well, you could be doing this, and if you had just did this, and yeah, but you got to take accountability too. You know, you have to in certain instances because you might have you might have overlooked something, you might have underlooked something. Also, drug use will destroy and burn down the greatest legacies. It is one fact. Just think about it. Parents are heavy on drugs. They bringing these kids around. Guess what? 9 out of 10, these kids are gonna be around it nine times out of 10. They're gonna see them doing what's not supposed to be done in front of them, and then now they might even get that notion to start doing so. They don't even just got to be in the house. They could be around a bunch of friends who be around a bunch of drug users. And I'm talking about the heavy stuff now. I ain't talking about the weed. I'm talking about all the heavy stuff outside of that. The alcohol, the cocaine, things along those lines. That could destroy your legacy quicker than anything. It'll torch you down. Gotta give your kids the reinforcements to think for themselves and keep themselves mentally strong so they don't fall down a certain line. Because they could be already building and doing something great. But the minute specific drugs come into the picture, that's a done deal. Teach them when they're young. Listen, these is the things you need to stay away from. If you don't want to have to worry about a real hard downfall, some form of rehab or anything along those lines, if you don't want to take a toll on your body structure and everything else, these are the ones you need to avoid. These are the things you have to avoid. Some of them pills, like I said, it's a psychopathic drug. So again, you got to be careful. Teach them how to be careful. Know that when something is not right for them, that they step away. Then if it continues to happen, they need to step away from the people that they frequenting or the people that they're being around. Because prime example, if your kid is not into any form of drugs, they shouldn't be forced. Nobody's trying to force their hand either. Oh, if you ain't doing this, then you ain't down with us. Oh well, then I just won't be down there because I choose to keep myself preserved where I need to keep myself preserved. I got a life ahead of me, don't know the life expectancy, but I at least want to be able to say, I'm doing something outside of just this. Prime example, the other day, I had a visit from my boy and the God kids. And the story was funny. See, even down to this, for those that live in complexes, projects, and everything else, there's some of y'all who really lack self-awareness and self-respect. Because common sense would tell you, I shouldn't be posted up in no lobby area with a bunch of my friends smoking, drinking, and acting a fool, knowing that it's nice as hell outside. It's nice as hell outside. Why am I in a small, or I'm in a vicinity where I know there could be other people coming in with their kids. Could have people coming in. They might have oxygen tanks, gas masks, all that. Like, come on, now. Nobody should have to walk into the door and have to worry about nothing but consistent clouds of smoke or anything else along those lines. Just hit them in the face. Have some awareness and self-respect, because guess what? There's some of y'all that's only doing that because you know the boys is not doing no patrols the way how they used to do it. Because half of y'all wouldn't even be residing in no lobbies doing nothing. And when you do, 9 out of 10, you already know what it was. You know at some point you was going to have to dip. Now, granted, weed is legal and everything else now, but in the same token, some of y'all need to realize there's still areas where you cannot smoke at. I don't give a damn. You can't even smoke a cigarette. So if you're not respecting that, at some point they're gonna stop respecting that whole notion of weed being legal. But some of y'all should have common sense, because you don't want to see, or the younger ones shouldn't have to see a bunch of adults, or even people that's not adults, just sitting down in a festivity and just doing something that could be done outside. You know, have some self-respect and some self-awareness again. You know, and the weather is nice and decent. Look, get out and go do something. Find something to do. And the reason why I was saying this along that line too is because some of y'all adults need to be aware, even you young adults need to be aware of what you're doing when it comes to these young kids, because they are mimicking everything that they see and do. And if they ain't watching you do it, they watching somebody else do it. So again, it's just keeping a balance in order. I know some of y'all, you definitely don't want your kids being burnouts before a certain age. You don't definitely want them to be a burnout or a crash dummy at all. So again, try to implement and teach what you can teach. Do the necessary steps. But yeah, not trying to do anything to implement some form of learning and some form of building that could definitely tarnish and destroy any legacy you build. Like I said, with the drug use, you can't teach your kids nothing if you burnt out all the time. Not gonna be able to do it. But yeah, just take that into consideration. The best thing that you could ever do is just be the best you possibly can for that child, and show your child that, guess what, regardless of what steps you take in life, there's always going to be a process that you're going to have to follow and that you're going to have to proceed with. But within that process, you'll gain progress. You know, and from the progress, you'll create great success. It is solely up to you on how you want to change the dynamics. You know? But again, teach them. You know, important lessons will lead to great progression. That progression is something that will definitely carry your offspring into the next millennium, basically. And if you love your kids like you say you do, this is for people who need to hear. If you claim you love your kids as much as you do, then again, you need to make sure you're doing everything that you possibly can for them, showing them the best ways of moving, best ways of living. They get a certain age, they decide they want to do this and do that. As far as whatever recreation they do, then that's on them. But again, you need to make sure you are showing them the best positive light that you can. Sit down and have conversations with them when you need to. Definitely grow your bond stronger. Communication within the household and communication within the family structure, that's always supposed to remain in the balance. You can also destroy a legacy by adding confusion. I mean, any form of confusion to where they will second guess or overthink something. Nah, you give them the clear answers that you're supposed to give them. You don't force nonsense on them. Again, in order to grow and build the best way possible, yeah, you're going to definitely have to be buckled in. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but it should never be that bumpy to where you don't know what's going on. 702, baby. Appreciate you, though. Appreciate you. I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So you got to take that into careful consideration. The children are going to be the greatest assets, and they're going to be the greatest legacy that's, going to keep the family rolling. If you teach them, if it's more than one, if you teach them each something, a valuable tool, a valuable skill that's going to be, complementary to their skill set, to their personality, that's even greater. All your kids are not going to be able to be in the sports. You might have one of them that's going to be the athlete. You might have one that's going to be a successful business owner. Shoot. Might have one that's successful in designing or doing whatever. It depends. You might have those who are successful in the medical field. They'll probably be doctors and surgeons. If they ain't into that, they could be dealing with everything, autopsies and all of that. That's if they decide to be in the medical field. No, again, just stimulate their mind the best way possible. Find out what their interests are, but also find out what their strong suits are. And if they got something that they really strong at and they can build with, then that's something good. But also teach them that cheating and lying their way to the top of the chain is not going to work. Only thing it's going to do is cause more chaos and confusion in your life. Build solidly. Do everything accordingly. Do it by the book. Prime example, if you don't have no experience in construction, but that's something you're thinking about, you better gain the experience, take the classes that's necessary so you can get the proper credentials and licenses, and then you move forward from there. See, to be honest with you, they try to make it seem like school is the ultimate option for all growth. Technically, it's not. There's other ways to build, and you don't necessarily have to have a degree in doing so. I'm not saying I'm not pushing for people to go for doctorates and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, you could be trying to go for a multitude of different licenses and credentials, college wise or whatever. But it's not going to add up to some form of financial success. It's not building you nothing. It's just giving you more education. That's it. So again, just balance it out. There are some people who didn't do anything at all as far as education was concerned, but they made it to the top because they were determined on doing so. They didn't let certain things stop them from being what they needed to be in life. And look how they at right now. They at the top of the food chain. Families is in order. Everybody is learning and constructing within that family. You know, keeping the legacy of the family tree going. Most important thing. Drop the link in case anybody want to chime in on the topic. But you know me, I ain't gonna hold y'all all day neither. Got a couple more things to take care of. But I felt this is another portion of something I might revisit. Because again, you can create broken legacies by not teaching your legacy anything in life. Solely believe that. You should make a conscious effort as a parent to always make sure your children knows the things they need to know. They need to know how to read, right? You can't have a child out in the world that could barely read because now your child might get an opportunity and sign a contract, but that contract it could be a real, basically it could be a jerk off move because you don't know what you signing and you don't know what's going to be required, and what you think you know, you won't be far from the truth. You know, like when they say people got to be wary of these 360 deals, yes, that's true. Like even that's something to be teaching. Be wary of these 360 deals. If it's not a partnership deal or something along those lines, they shouldn't sign it. Because again, you ain't going to see what you think you're going to see until after everybody got broken off, basically. And then you still might be left with scraps. You still got to find a way to maintain and survive. So now you got to do extra. Those 360s will mess you up because even if it comes down to what really makes you the most money, they're going to have their hand in everything. So it's almost basically like you'll be working for pennies on the dollar until you get where you need to get. Teach the kids how to make smart investments. Teach them the knowledge that they need to know, not just stocks and bonds, but anything that could be critical towards gaining if that's what they want to do. You're good with mortgages and you're good with flipping homes and all the other stuff. You want your kids to learn that about real estate and all that. Hey, get them into that. Like I said, I ain't gonna hold y'all all afternoon though. I'm gonna revisit this. Just wanted to chime in with the people. You know, I feel that's another way again of creating a broken legacy when you're not teaching that legacy anything. And I appreciate everybody that tuned in this afternoon. I know some of y'all busy right now. Some of y'all enjoying your birthdays. I ain't forget about y'all. Before I do get up out of here, appreciate every last one of y'all that tuned in. Appreciate every last one of y'all that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. Shout out to my Shadow Mafia out there. Y'all know what it is. For all you birthday babies, all you Virgo babies, don't worry. We did not forget you today. We did not forget you. And to enjoy the celebration of vacation week. There you go. There you go. Hopefully, y'all enjoy the rest of your afternoons, evenings, and happy Sunday to all your future babies that rock with your boy. Before we do get up out of here, though, one more thing. One more.
With no makeup, you looking good in the face. Natural body, I'm loving how it's shaped. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoes coming in, so I gotta bring the guys with me. Said they get the dirty outside. Heard they was some freaks, so I had to bring the down with me. Oh, you with it? I'm gone. Come to the bathroom, give me that dome. Yo, man's get the tripping, Brody.
Madness has been encouraged. Don't worry. The madness has been encouraged. And it's a good day to do so. Let me show you how good I feel.
That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Because I know I'm going to get an email for that, but guess what?
My problem. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Yeah, you know how that goes. You know how that goes. But yeah, I will definitely be revisiting this because I really want to get everybody's views and opinions on that. You know me, I'm going to bring a topic, and whether we discuss it that day or following, it doesn't matter. But I think these talks do get somewhere, and they do lead to some form of thinking and execution again. Executing a strong balance within the family. You know, again, give your legacy something to go off of. When you long gone, you want to be able to at least say you left your kids within the right realms of things, and I hope they continue the same thing. Hope they continue on the same path of growth and dedication. You know, inspire them to be greater. Inspire them to be something that everybody would be proud of. But hopefully somebody did get something out of this. And again, I will revisit this. For those following me on Clapper, I will see y'all at 7, give or take 7:30 the latest. Always a pleasure to bring something to the people. Oh yeah, I ain't forget about y'all. Wait a minute, I ain't forget about y'all. I can't let y'all go out just like that. Hold on. One more again, one more again. Yeah. Wait, Anita, you can't leave yet. Wait, don't leave out yet. Wait, I got something. I think I got something for you. Oh yeah, I do got something for you. Wait a minute. Come get baby Rufus in there. Come get baby Rufus in there. Come get baby Rufus. About to say, serious, you ain't off the hook neither. You ain't off the hook neither. I just thought about something. Little Ricky done got into some problems over here. Little Ricky always doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. Damn shame. Oh man, you know it wouldn't be the city if you ain't hear one of those, baby. Look at baby Rufus. Look at it. I know y'all got to pay the baby to stay quiet. Nah, but for those who just tuned in, y'all definitely catch this replay. Again, hopefully somebody did get something out of it, especially those who need to hear it. Parents is not rocket science. Guardians not rocket science. In order to keep the legacies preserved and keep them growing naturally and progressively, Gotta give them the right tools and the right knowledge. And when that don't work, hey, you always do it. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that last part. But first part, yeah, you can do that. Well, I'll definitely get up out of here though. And again, I'll see y'all at 7. Y'all was new to the channel. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance today, you already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. I think I felt like I missed something. I think I did miss something. Oh yeah, I did for the celebrators. My bad.
Oh yeah, I know you love it, muscle lips. Let's go. Lap it up, you hungry son of a bitch. Whoop! Sorry.
Get a handle on your frisbee, college boy.
Oh, you do not want to go.
Yeah, but let me get my happy-go-lucky ass up out of here. One more game. One more game.
You must first begin to
But y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings. Oh, wait a minute. Piano for serious? Oh, snap. Wait a minute. We got a troll drop? Wait, we got a troll in here? Wait a minute, man. You know I can't leave out without saying that shit. Hold on. You know I can't do that with him. No. Hold on one second.
motherfucker.
You already know how we do it. Y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.